Good evening, all. How are you doing on this fine, fine day? And by fine, I mean I am so sweaty. It is unpleasantly warm. It is starting to cool down, but my place is old brick, and it keeps the heat well, so I'll be warm right until about 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. At which point it'll start to cool down to a reasonable temperature, but we will see. We will see. Are the lists today going to be made with the new match play guide and missions in mind? As much as possible, but it just dropped, and I don't consume, like, I don't pick stuff up well from watching videos. I really need to sit down and read it all myself to get a good grasp of what I want to do with it. So there's going to be, missions are vaguely more good. Unit strength 10 is vaguely more good. Core is vaguely more good. 500 point max characters. 500 point max units. And that's sort of the guidelines I'll be working to. Hey Matthew, how you doing? Christian's here as well. Good evening, Christian. Yeah. I've got I wanna talk about the everything in that book, but I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably do 2 videos. I'll do one video which is what are the changes in terms of the list building, and one what is the changes in terms of the missions. That's probably the...
Help me, a dwarf player set up a cannon kill with the new deployment rules, and I have the urge to fist fight him in a Waffle House.
Well, yep. I don't think those deployment rules are going to get used very much. I think they're pretty terrible. They rely on a desire to play a good game. So for tournament play, you don't care if your opponent has a good time, outside of wanting them to, it's a social contract, yada yada, but you're like, I'm just going to do what's best for me. So, yeah. Going to take a gun line to a tournament, win the roll-off, put all the terrain on the outside of the board edge, and I don't care where it scatters to, because it's never going to be relevant. I mean, you don't have a fully formed view on the strategic implications of the match play guide that is out minus 14 days ago. Yep, nope, you're right. I am terrible. I should sort my life out now. Vesper's here. Hello, beautiful people, high elf players, and everyone else. That is fair. Yeah, sometimes you've got to throw down the Waffle House. As a Brit, obviously, haven't got Waffle House here. But the 2 things I know about it is I think it's where just all of the shenanigans happen after midnight, and then also they're always open, to the point where there's a Waffle House index for how bad storms are. Fist fight in the parking lot is 100% a legitimate resolution for disagreement in the old worlds in the rulebook. I think that might be made up. I'm going to press F to doubt that one. If you are here and you haven't already, could you like the stream? It helps me get picked up by the algorithm, all of that good stuff. It is going to be a little bit difficult to get picked up today because there's so much stuff flying around. So any initial boost would be fantastic. The UK Waffle House is the chippy, but it closes earlier. Yeah, but you also don't get a sit-in, so you're less likely to get fights at the chippy. It does happen. Or kebab places probably more likely to have fights. But given that you're not sat in, I feel like the timing for drama is lower. Potentially. But who can say? Who can say? I am hyped for this. What I've seen from the match play book so far, from the quick skim through I had, it looks pretty positive. I think most things look good. The rules being optional is really nice, so I'm looking forward to digging into that and having a think. I was basically it's super busy, and between all of the content coming out, which is a million things for me to cover, I'm also trying to make sure I make time for my partner, and also trying to just be generally healthy as well. So I stopped halfway through recording the 3rd video of the day, one of which was a 2.5 hour deep dive on Cathay, and went balls to this. I'm going to go for a walk, I'm going to come back, I'm going to finish prepping for the stream, and then I can finish recording tomorrow. So tomorrow's video, you may notice a difference in lighting, or I might just re-record it. I was only about 10 minutes in, so we'll see. We will see. If you mention your meal being incorrect, the cook at Waffle House will fight you. Huh. Huh. I don't know. I don't know if we have anywhere that's sort of similar to that. I mean, you'll go in for a kebab. The man behind the counter will call you boss. You'll get your kebab. You'll eat your kebab. You'll feel awful because you've eaten a kebab and drank 20 pints. Yeah. Not sure we've got anywhere where the staff are out to physically assault you anyway. Chicken chops? Yeah, yeah. True, true. Your group may be ignoring it. You're using the square-based one, so we're probably just going to keep using that. Or you do alternating terrain placement. Yeah, I think from the very quick look through I've had, the terrain looks bad. Everything else I think looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Since Dark Elves are essentially in the US, do you think they praise Kane and Waffle House? Are they essentially the US? What's the map? In my head, Nagaroth is further north than High Elves. I could be wrong with that, but isn't Nagaroth really cold and bleak? So I'm assuming it's further north. Which, if you're inserting that into Canada, into the US, that would make Nagaroth the US. It doesn't necessarily fit with the stereotypes, but you know, that's the thinking. Nagaron is North America. It's basically East Coast. Canada is Chaos Land. Alright, fair. Can't wait my own baggage carts. Actually, I think you mean cabbage carts, as we all know. Huge shout out to Square-Based. What an unbelievable achievement. They've got back-to-back 1,000 people live watching previews. I know it's because it's, you know, the first to get leaks out, but that's huge. That's like massive numbers. I haven't seen anything like that for Old World. It's really exciting. Super pleased for them. Cathay Deep Dive, play Cathay and win, unless also against Cathay. I don't think it's that bad. I think, to me, this feels like the Royal Host. People started playing the Royal Host, and then we thought it was going to be unbelievably impossible to stop. And then it's not actually ended up being like that. We'll see. Nagaroth is more Canada. Fits well with the super friendly Dark Elves. Yeah, absolutely, Christian. Absolutely. Vesper says, you're positive, optimistic that Cathay will flop. Do you mean in terms of, like, sales or in terms of rules? I don't think they'll flop rules. I think they're good. I think they'll be one of the better armies. They'll be top 5. I don't know if they're going to be the best army in the game. Like, for example, the balloon build. I don't really see how that deals with undead. I think undead can scream it to death. I'm talking vampire counts. So vampire counts can scream it to death, and the things that it's able to shoot are just able to heal up. Unless you're able to do, I think you've got to do like 19 wounds to Graveguard to over multiple turns to be able to kill them. So maybe just the unit gets a little bit bigger in terms of being able to survive against the shooting. We'll see. It's way more interactive than Royal Host. Yeah, it is, but I mean that in terms of like the level of concern that people have for it. It'll sell at record numbers. It 100% will. I've said this a few times now. I think this is going to be bigger for Old World than the launch of the Old World, which is nuts. It's going to be very, very big. They are very orcs and goblins, efficient across the board and cool tricks, but can't bully people. They feel very sort of between High Elves and Warriors of Chaos to me. They haven't quite got the punch of Warriors of Chaos, but they've got... And it's not just because they've nicked some of their rules. Yeah, it feels middle of the road there. The models are gorgeous. They 100% are. I've got a box of the army box and one of the Shogungan Lords. And I think the book, Lockdown, I can't remember exactly what I've ordered. I put in my order a little while ago, so some level of something like that. But yeah, well, if we talk about Cathay, let's talk about Cathay. Let's have a look. I've seen Hassa Flavor here, so we're going to start with your list. And it's also Cathay, so we're going to start with your list. So. This is 3 Sky Lanterns, in 2 in Rare, 1 in Special. Could go into Rare here, but... Oh, no, it couldn't because of the new rules. Because you're capped at 2 Special. I was going to say it's just a flex, but no, that makes sense. So putting it here is good. Triple Cannon. You've only gone for 1 Ogre Loader. That's interesting. I think I'd want double Ogre Loader. How are we going to make that work? how are we going to make that work? Let's have a look here. Right, okay. So I don't want to like make this a repeatable point that I go to. The whole Games Workshop makes rules to sell models is observably false. If you look at any of their releases, if you follow their releases over like I got back into it about 6 years ago. The main selling army they have is Space Marines. So if they were going to push things rules-wise for Space Marines, they would make all of the Primaris stuff really good. Has there been good Primaris stuff? Yes, of course. The Desolator Marines were really good on launch. However, if you look at the entire range of all of the Space Marine units that have been released in the last 6 years, I would say 85% of them have been unplayable on launch. It's unfortunately not malice, it's incompetence. I'm not saying that Cathay are balanced to that level. I'm just saying that when things are broken OP, it's not because they're deliberately doing it to sell things. That's terrible for the long-term health of the game, and the company is run by people who've been there for 30 years, so that's not their approach. It's just people messing things up more than they probably should. Yeah. Anyone know how many guns the Lantern gets? It's 1 per crew member. Yes, that's correct. Do you even have to choose the same for all? Yeah, so if you see here, so on the Sky Lantern, it just comes with, they all have crane guns, or they all have iron hail guns and gunpowder bombs, or they all have the dragonfire bombs. So you're not paying, for 5 models, you don't have to pay 100 points to give them all dragonfire bombs. Bromo Sapien, last new faction they made for 40k was Votan. Yeah, it was really broken, and again, it was incompetence. They nerfed it into basically unplayability before the models were officially released. So that's not an argument for them being OP, because no one had received their models by the time the rules had been nerfed. They were like week 1 or like week -1 patch. It was so fast. Yeah, it's literally just they mess up. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Who said that? Christian. That's not me picking on you specifically, Christian. I've just seen that comment a lot over the last sort of week, and I think that was the catalyst for me saying something about it. But yes. Okay, so let's have a look here. So we've got a Lord Magistrate who's got... You've gone for crane guns across everything. Oh no, you've gone 2 iron hail. So iron hail. Crane. Okay, so you've gone 3 for long range and 2 for short range. Let's see. This you haven't given a ward save. This you haven't given a ward save. Okay, so you're just going pure wounds. To be fair, 9 wounds is a lot of wounds. Christian, if it was all about the money, they could monetize their game so much better. Like, it is such a poorly run company in terms of monetization. That drives me nuts as well. Because it feels like at times they do things that are greedy, and then they completely fail to capitalize on the massive Space Marine 2 launch by having the Space Marine Captain available to buy anywhere other than Walmart. But we're getting off track. I don't want to just rant about my feelings on their monetization. Okay, so Lord Magistrate, you've gone for the Alchemist Mask. For those of you who don't know, this is an item that gives you the Elementalism spell Plague of Rust as a power level 3. Talisman Protection as well is nice. Then we've got 2 without ward save. We've just gone full on the Dragonfire Bombs and the Iron Hail Guns. I like that. So you're going to have 6 Dragonfire Bombs, given you've got the characters in there as well. That's pretty beefy. We've got 2 units of Jade Lancers. You've given them both Terror. The Spirit Lantern gives you Terror, and also you reroll 1s to wound, I think it is, against... Yeah, it is 1s to wound. Against demons and undead. So that's really nice. Full command there. Full command... Yeah, that's probably good. Have you given them Drilled? I'd be tempted to give them Drilled. Oh, you've given them Ambush. That's interesting. I guess it keeps the drops down low. I don't hate that, because they can just come on from your board side. Like, you're playing an Avoidance playstyle, so you can keep them in reserve using the Sky Lanterns rule, which gives you the ability to +or -1. So, yeah, that's fine. I think this is an interesting approach for the core. I like it. And then you've got Lantern, Cannon, and you've got 2 guns. I really want to put more Ogre Loaders in, but I think you might have to cut something to get there. I think the Alchemist Mask is really important. the fact we haven't got any magic defense is a little bit concerning to me as well. Like, no wizards. No wizards. Is that £500 worth of lanterns? Yeah, damn right it is. Damn right it is. Would very much recommend anyone who looks to do a Cathay army, if you want to do the Sky Lantern build, you should get those from like a third party. You should spend like 20 quid at most per lantern, get them 3D printed. Do not buy them from Games Workshop at £95 a pop, because if anything at all in this book is going to get nerfed, it's potentially the Ogre Loader and it's potentially the Sky Lantern. And they haven't really done knee-jerk nerfs, but I can see these things potentially being something that maybe gets addressed in 6 months' time. So I'm reticent to say you should spend, you know, £575 or whatever it is on lanterns alone. Vesper says, I'm not a hater, but when I look at Cathay, I see conversion material for an undead Cathay / Nippon themed army. Yeah, hell yeah. I don't think that sounds like a hater at all. I think that sounds like a fantastic hobbying project. Would recommend. Give that one a go. Yeah, I really want to get more Ogre Loaders in, but at 35 points per, I think you have to drop a Sky Lantern. And I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to do that. I think I would be tempted to give another one of these. With that, you know, I think I'd be tempted to go for maybe 3 long range and 3 short range. I think that's probably the split that I'd like to go for. I don't know how we're shaving the points, though. Ooh. I don't... Maybe we just sack off... I mean, it is your general, so it is the one that's going to get targeted, but 10 wounds, long range, maybe we can just do without the Talisman of Protection, honestly. Nah. We're not doing that. Alright, is Has a Flavor here? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So I'm not going to link this list, because I don't know that there are any tweaks that I can make without completely rewriting it, and I think I like what you're going for. I think I might be tempted to go for another close range one here, and I'd like to get Ogre Loaders on these, but I don't know how you do it. I think the only way to do it is to lose a lantern, and I don't know that that's better. So what you could do is you could go -1 lantern plus 2 Ogre Loaders, which is 70 points, so we're currently then 65 points from max, and that gives you the ability to put like a ward save here, and a Ruby Ring of Ruin. Have you got that already? Yeah, ward save and a Ruby Ring of Ruin, and you drop one of the Sky Lanterns. That's an option. I don't love it. Possibly just drop a cannon. I think I'd rather have 3 cannons over having 2 cannons that can both fire twice and some other upgrades. The wizards locked to Monster Mounts is tough. It is. They're not that expensive, though. Obviously, they are more expensive, but a level 4 wizard with no upgrades is 280 points. And that is just, you know, level 4 with a 3-up armor save and a 5-up ward. Oh, no, sorry. 284 gives you the armor save and ward save. So, I think for what you get, it's budget, but I guess you're right in terms of not being able to put a cheap wizard in is difficult. A broken ankle? What have you done to yourself, Anthony? I hope you're doing alright. Is that, well, broken fibula specifically? Damn it, man, I'm not a doctor. Sounds to me like you need to lie up in bed and watch loads of Old World content, which is good because all of the channels are making loads of Old World content at the moment, so you will be well suited for just, you know, you've got all of the content in the world that you could want to watch. Alright, so yeah, no, I think I like what you've done. I don't think there's a way of tweaking it without it literally getting rid of one of the lanterns, and I think with this list, I think I like boys over toys. I want more bodies over more upgrades, so, yeah. It does make me sad that there's only one Ogre Loader, though. Huh. Knowing you're lucky, you'll misfire all the loader cannons. Turn 1, never get a fire twice. Yeah, I mean, look at the... that's one of the reasons I like having the Ogre Loader. So you don't even have to play super aggressively. You can just save it, and if on, like, turn 1 or 2 you misfire, you can reroll, and if you don't, you just go, alright, now it's time to double up on that juicy shot. Has the optimal core been sold for Grand Cathay? Not at all. This is a core that I haven't seen before by Has a Flavor, and I really like it. Double Jade Lancers, Spirit Lantern to make them cause terror. They're in ambush, and otherwise they've got full command. I might be tempted to drop the Standard Bearers, The reason for that is it makes them give up less points, and this is a very points denial list, but we'd have to retool because that would put us 6 points under. Maybe give them both drilled as well. That would be like a decent swap. Or no, tweak it in some way. But yeah, I like this, but the other one is like 1 unit of 6 with a Ruby Ring of Ruin and drilled, and then a big unit of the Jade Warriors, and then 2 small detachments. That's quite a good points denial one as well, because you can put them down as 1 drop for the detachment units, and then go from there. Cool. Who else have we got here? I saw Matthew, so let's talk about Matthew's Cathay list, because let's be honest, we 6 won't score objectives. Yeah, unit strength 10, cavalry counters unit strength 2 each, so they will score, assuming that they stay alive. Keep looking at the horde keyword, and the Lancer's trying to decide if it's a trap. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think there's a lot of stuff that you can do. I think the problem is the balloons are so appealing in terms of what they do that I haven't put a lot of thought into the other ways of playing them, but I think characters supporting a big unit of Lancers is a very interesting to build to go with. So, this is Matthew's list here. So we've got a Shigengan Lord, Iron Talons Heavy Armor, level 4 Wizard, Pistol. They've only got Ballistic Skill 3, so we can shave some points there, but Law of Yin. Okay, interesting. Jade Blade, the Great Fleet, like that. Learn from it. Okay. Okay, interesting. So, this is the Spectral Doppelganger build. Law of Yin, so Matthew's going for double Assailment spell, I guess. That's fine. This is surplus points, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, and then we've got the second one, which is again Law of Yang, Iron Talons. Okay, so this is again 5 spells, and this is a Blaster Caster. Although I would like to see a Ruby Ring of Ruin in the list. Yeah, let's do that. So let's shave the points on the 2 pistols immediately. Let's give this wizard, who's going to be running around doing Fireball and Pillar of Fire, give them another spell here. And then we're going 6 points missing, and we're 19 points over. Are we going to struggle here? Alchemist Mask. Alright. Let's do this in a smarter way. We'll take that off. We'll give the Jade Lancers, one of the units of Jade Lancers can have the Ruby Ring of Ruin, and then the other unit here will just drop 2 models to get lower here. That's annoying. I think I'd be going hand weapon shields. I'm not saying that the halberds are going to do anything for you, realistically. I don't think the output is there for them. And how do we get over the line? We just need to drop 6 points. Oh, no, we need to drop 3 points. So I guess if we go down to an 18, and then if we give this unit a musician as well, something like that. The core can be tweaked with a little bit, but I think you want the Ruby Ring of Ruin in if you're going double wizard, one of which is a blasto. You've then got a single lantern, which is pretty solid, and it's got Plague of Rust on there. And then you've got double Grand Cannon with Ogre Loader and the Cathayan Sentinel. Jade Sentinel. Yep. Yep, this makes sense to me. So you've got potentially double Plague of Rust if you want to go for it, or you can go for another magic missile here. This feels pretty solid within the build path you've gone for. Obviously, I think if you went more heavily into one of the builds, that would be stronger. But I think for the vibe you've gone for, I don't really want to just take out, like, for example, the cannons and go all in on the Sentinels or something like that. Like, I wonder if there's a Blaster build where you just go triple Jade Sentinel, Blaster Lord, a Sky Lantern. The Melee Lord is kind of optional at that point, and then you just kind of play around with the core. But yeah, I think this is interesting. 1 Blaster, 1 Combat, couldn't fit a Ruby Ring. Yeah. The Jade Lancers being able to have 50 points of magic items in command is nuts, honestly. Absolutely nuts. Existence says, along with them fighting in 2 ranks, plus being heavy cav, they have to be only, 4 to get a rank. That's correct, yeah. So you need, at minimum, 12 alive to get your +2 rank bonus. So you could run a boss of 4x4, but then that unit is quite clunky. Match play only lets you have 1 level 4 wizard. That is true. That is true. We should probably change that up, actually. So if you're doing that, probably better with one more cannon instead of a sentinel. Yeah, I would say so. Like, the cannons, just doubling down on the cannons is good. I like the gunpowder bombs. I'm yet to decide whether or not they're optimal, but I think they're an interesting way to build. We leave the level 4 wizard as this one here with battle magic, because you want to go into the Lure of Yang, get the magic missile there, have your fireball, have your pillar of fire, have your arcane urgency, so you don't want to lose a spell there, and you can't take Lore Familiar. Whereas this one, because we're only level 3, let's go Lore Familiar Power Scroll. That's going to be Lore Familiar 2 Power Scrolls. Wait, hold on. Oh, I've unticked the wrong item. No, I can't do that. It's Lore Familiar and Jade Blade of the Great Fleet, I think. Let's have a look here. What did you put in your list? So this has Jade Blade. Yeah, that was correct. Cool. I took off the Jade Blade there. Oh, this is difficult because the level 3 is going to struggle to cast. Initial read is the Granite Terracotta. The monsters to take Jade is cute, but I don't think it gets there. Could go either way. Lore Familiar on the illusion, not the Blastercaster, right? Yeah, that's what I went with. The reason being the Blastercaster really wants to take the additional magic missile, whereas you're not as sad to lose what you get on the other wizard. I think that's interesting. That does leave us with some points to fill. We've got 64 points. What the hell? Problem is, it's very difficult to fill 64 points. There's no sort of like cheap chaff unit in this list. We can go more into core. Chasing Doppelfun, hell yeah. I like it. I really like the idea of Doppelganger. I think the answer is just that you have to go slightly more into these units. But then also, I'm assuming you've built it from a box, and I don't really want to ruin that. Because you're already having to pick up. This is difficult to tweak, honestly. Maybe it's just another character. Gatekeeper BSB. I don't hate that. Just adding some combat res to the Jade Warriors. Not enough points to give it really anything. Would need to shave 12 points to make this work. This is not something we can touch. This has got Iron Talons, Heavy Armor, Lore of Yang. Yeah, that's bare bones. This is bare bones. I guess the Gatekeeper. Maybe just a Gatekeeper without a standard. Maybe that's the way to do things, and you go +1 here. Something like this. I'm not in love with it, but it does take you up to 20 models. What about the Gatekeeper BSB? They aren't cheap. Yeah. Lacks of Onyx Crowmen is the big Cathay problem. I haven't played. No, one of them's... Oh, did I not take off... Oh, I thought I'd taken off... I must have clicked the level 4 and then unclicked the level 4. So at that point, we can go BSB here, which is good. Do we have points to go? We definitely don't. Oh, no, we do. Hold on. Now that I can get behind. This gets us to a 3-up armor save, which just makes us a little bit tankier on the Gatekeeper. Obviously still goes into the Jade Warriors. Yeah. There we go. That makes sense. That makes sense. It was just not taking off the 30 points that was confusing me. Alright. I think that is a pretty decent version of the list you're going for. That feels like it's maybe not the tournament cutthroat list, but it's definitely a good starting point for you to build around. And most of the bus stuff comes in a box, so it's probably... people are going to be playing around with stuff like that. You're welcome, Matthew. I'm really looking forward to playing some Cathay. I like building and painting some Cathay as well. Alright, who else have we got? Have we got anyone here who has submitted a list? It's the easy to build list from models you get now. Yeah. And instead of buying a Sentinel, I've just changed you over to a box of Grand Cannons, so it's basically the same cost, or cheaper, I guess. Although you might want to pick up the Gatekeeper. I'm just going to go down the list of things that I've got here in terms of... Let's have a look if I scroll up. So Bragg says, it seems like a better idea in theory than actually realised in the play page. I got no excuse for this one. Ah, excellent, Ercon. I'll get to yours in just a second. That'll be the next one that I can have a look at. So let's have a look at Bragg's Demons Renegades list. And I know Bragg is not attached to it emotionally in terms of them all being Slaanesh. So we're good to make some changes even though it's not themed. So I think this is interesting, but it's too squishy. But, you know, if you want to play with the Greater Demon, which is an interesting concept, even though it's unbelievably squishy, Demonology is a pretty good way to go. You can't rely on Illusion for Spectral Doppelganger. I think there's more stuff in here. Like, if you get See the Shadows for your Infantry Brick, if you get Demonic Vessel, Demonic Vigor, you're pretty happy about that. And then you can swap it into, potentially, I guess, there's nothing else there. Turns off Strikes First, gives you Strikes Last, that's good. And Leadership Test to hit. Honestly, I think this is not worth going for, because the things that are going to hit you are good. And that's just... yeah. Now this, the Siren Song, I think is significantly better as Disruption. Like, realistically, the units are probably going to be able to hit you, or if they aren't able to hit you because they've got a bad leadership, it wouldn't matter anyway. Not being able to charge you to tie you up, or like, you know, you put it on the combat res unit that was potentially going to be charging into the flank while the dragon charged in the front. Like, this could make a big difference, so I like that more. The Herald with the Banner of Unholy Victory, that gives you plus D3 combat res, is fine. Level 2, I guess I'd probably go Illusion for this, and you just play around the signature spell. No gifts, probably wouldn't put any gifts on them there. These Furies definitely want to be Furies of Khorne, and I think you probably want to go slightly bigger. I like 8s for my Furies, so 8 Furies of Khorne is significantly more exciting in terms of a fast punch unit. At which point the Seeker Chariots are... like, the problem is this just doesn't play into the meta, and that's the issue for Slaanesh. But if we're to maximize it, I think I don't hate the sort of like 1 or 2 of each that you've gone for. I just don't think that any of these units particularly play well into the meta. Like, you're gonna struggle to pick stuff up. Something that you could put in is you could put in a Demon Prince, but now that you can only have 1 level 3, 1 level 4, 2 level 3s, I don't even think that the Demon Prince is, you know, specifically exciting in the way that you might want it to be. So something like this, and then we just probably drop down some Demonettes like this. I think this is... There's not a lot to say about this list, unfortunately, I think. And I'm being more harsh with this because Bragg is one of my coaching students. Not because he's a coaching student, but from talking to him, I know he's not emotionally connected to the list in terms of it being like, oh, I like the theme, I want to play it. He's more looking for stuff that is competitively viable. So that is the thinking there. What did I say? What time is it? At roughly 30 mins into stream. There we go. Because I think it'd be good for him to see the context to why I made some changes and why I didn't make many of the changes. Yeah, has to charge, not can't charge on the Siren Song. Oh, okay, sure. That's good, but for a different reason. God, I wish I could read. Wish I could read. Vesper says, I didn't submit a list per se, more like a fashion statement and a reiteration of Sea God superiority. I like your list. I think when I put it in, I was looking at it and going, oh, this is the sort of thing that I want to see and fix my list. There's like different stuff to talk about instead of just the same. Like, Bretonnian lists are a little bit stale at the moment because it's a lot of just put the same stuff in. So I really like your list. And we can talk about it after Ercon's, which I hope I'm saying correctly, Beastmen. Now, there was, I believe, some text to go with this. Let's just scroll up and find it. Let's see what we've got here. It is right now 30 minutes into a 2-hour stream that I'm realizing I did not have any dinner. And that was a foolish decision. Alright, so a Kant stacks herd. You're first taking a Beastman good stuff list with a sub-theme of asymmetrical stacks pieces to make my opponent a bit worse in everything and fight on my own terms. 2 questions. 3 characters into that Goreherd unit. 2 few models. Should we cut elsewhere to put more? and Kralmore versus level 4 with Goretooth, potentially with Lore Familiar 2 for Neath the Shaded Woadspan. Okay. Never cut the cacophonous dirge. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Enjoy your evening. Should we order pizza to Eddie Order's house? No, please don't. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to get into fighting shape. Although the offer is very kind. The wizard limit not applying to named characters is goofy. Yeah, that is true. So this is legally you can have 2 level 4 wizards, and I think Kralmore stonks, which were already pretty good, definitely go up here. So this is a Razorgore chariot. So we're immediately going to put it to a Tuskor chariot just to save some points, because you don't actually really want to be in combat with this thing. And the stats that you get on the Razorgore chariot, you get +1 toughness, and you get plus damage in melee, but you don't want to be in melee. And you've already got the toughness 5 from the Tuskor, the Great Bray Shaman, so we can just swap that over. Kebab then, all the doner and chips. One of the nice things about being so warm is I don't want to eat anything unhealthy. I've got a salad in the fridge, and I'm going to absolutely nail that after the stream. I am so looking forwards to just a chicken Caesar salad with, using half of the dressing. That might sound sad, but I'm genuinely, it's so warm, I don't want anything that's, greasy or oily or too sweet. Which is good for me. We did that to Bikey back in the day. I broke him after a few weeks. That's that poor guy. Cool. So we've got the wizard here, Hag Tree Fetish, Ruby Ring of Rune. You definitely want a ward save on this thing. Talisman of Protection. You actually have some extra minutes you listen. Nice. Okay, cool. That worked out nicely. So Kralmore and Great Bray Shaman, that gets around the new restrictions on only 1 wizard, because it doesn't apply to special characters. We're giving the ward save to the Great Bray Shaman, and we've downgraded from the Razorgore to the Tuskor, because you don't actually need anything there. The Gorbel, Scimitar, Skulltar, Blackened Plate, now Gouge Tusk, Gnarled Hide. That is a build that I do like. That is cheap. And then we've got a Wargore, BSB, Slug Skin, and then you've got 20 gore herd. You were asking if you needed more gore. I think that's fine. They're just sort of wounds, realistically. And you've got Cacophonous Dirge, which, off the top of my head, I can't remember what Cacophonous Dirge does. I mean, YouTube is a real hobby. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Additional hand weapons, Manbane standard. Manbane is good. That is the -1 to leadership, so you can go for the terror bits. Not really have to pay them a lot to not get that restraining order. Yeah. Two of my subscribers have my address. So if I disappear, it's either Ed or Ginger Steve have had me killed. That's what's happened. Alright, triple Razorgore's good, Tuskor Chariot's good, double Chaos Warhounds is good as well, like all that in the core. Best Gore, Banner of the Warp Moon. I think this has got to be going away in 2 weeks' time, but right now this is good. Heavy Armor, Scourge of the Burdened. What on earth is Scourge of the Burdened? I don't remember at all. Ah, man, I'm going to have to pull up my Beastmen Arcane Journal, aren't I? You're going to make me do it. That's the wrong one. This is... I hope this is the right one. I download PDFs and then I forget to name them. Here we go. Let's have a look at the Cacophonous Dirge. Oh, yes, you turn off the musicians. That's good. I like that. And then you've also gone for... What was the other thing that you went for? Scourge of the Burdened. Call the Wild, the reserve move. Okay, yeah, no, I like those upgrades there. Unspell reserve move. Yes, yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I like those. 3 Dragon Ogres, Herdstone. This seems decent to me. I think, so the core's really nice. The triple Razorgore, single Tuskor, bunker for your Death Star, couple of units of annoying Vanguard Warhounds is really nice. 5 Bestigore for the turning off fly. This for the reserve move. And then just a good unit of Dragon Ogres and the Herdstone. Characters, Kralmore is solid. Honestly, I don't know that you need him in this list. You could probably cut him for just more beef, but I'm also not against having him there. The Gorbel is fine. I would maybe say, drop the Kralmore and upgrade to a Doombull, but it's personal preference there. We've tweaked this down from a Razorgore to a Tuskor Chariot, given it a Ruby Ring of Ruin, and... We've got 5 points. Let's give this thing a Charmed Shield, because you may as well. That once per game 5 at ward save could be big. But yeah, no, I think you've pretty much nailed the theme just a couple of efficiency tweaks there, and yeah, I like what you've gone for. So let's link that one. Boom. Zubus, first time you managed to make it to stream, you usually have to catch up the next day. Hell yeah, glad to have you, Zubus. Well, in that case, we could look at your list next. I think that seems entirely reasonable, since you've managed to turn up. That sounded so passive-aggressive. Since you've had the opportunity to turn up, that sounds less passive-aggressive. Let's have a look here. Would like to fit the Ruby Ring somewhere, not sure about the Shades. Warlocks are usually for Battle Lust, local play only, against a lot of T4 decent save armies, no characters above 500 points. Well, that's going to be a thing for everyone now. So you've got, yeah, this is a loadout I've been looking at. Lance Full Plate, Penta Caleth, Shield of Grond, Honor Dragon. This is probably the beefiest dragon that's going to exist. It's this or the High Elf Dragon. I think Elf Stonks went way up in terms of that change in the book. So, big fan of that. Then we've got the Supreme Sorceress, level 4 on foot, Elementalism, Spell Eater Axe for a magic resist 2, Tome of Furion for a 5th spell, 2 Focus Familiar, and the Guiding Eye. Is this just Shadestar? Oh, repeated crossbows. Okay. I don't love the repeated crossbows, but okay, let's do some maths. Let's do some quick maths. So you've got 21, and they're going to go in a hill. So let's just assume that they can all shoot. We're going to go best case scenario. We're going to go 21 shots times 2, because they've got multiple shots. We're not even going to think about the unit champion just for the sake of easy maths. They're going to be long range, turn 1, and they're going to be multiple shots. So they're going to be hitting on 5s. They're going to be, you're going to buff them with Demonology. You're going to give them the +1 strength AP and attack spell, which obviously the attacks don't matter. But the strength and AP mean that you're wounding on 2s, so let's divide that by 2. So we're looking at 7 wounds, which is 4s, which means that's going to be, with the Razor Standard, that's going to be 2 and a bit, 2.3, that have like the max AP, and then it's going to be, just call it 2 with good AP and 5 with AP 1. It's fine, but it's like 600 points of investment to probably kill. If we're talking like Chaos Warriors with T4 and a 4-up save, for example, we're killing what? 2 of them just flat out die, and then we've got 5. Let's 3 more. You're killing 5 models. How many turns do you get to shoot? Demonology affects crossbows. Hell yeah, it does, Zubus. So, if we just have a quick look at Demonology. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's the throwing weapons. Sorry, I played a throwing weapon build. Also, it says you've got Elementalism. Where have I got Demonology from? I've just constructed a use case in my head that was not real. So, apologies for that, first of all. Elementalism makes a lot more sense. Yeah, so Demonology, what I was thinking is if we go down to spell 4, and I always forget the name of it, Demonic Vessel. So the +1 strength and attacks, throwing weapons get the +1 AP. That's the Skaven build that I was going with. And then the AP of their weapons go up by 1. So it's like halfway to Plague of Rust, but it's not range dependent. The heat and lack of pizza is getting to you. The heat is, not the lack of pizza is great. Should have gone to Specsavers. I probably am due another eye test. I don't feel bad, but it's just been a year or 2 since I had my last one. Alright, Elementalism, the Guiding Eye. I guess you are going eggs in one basket. You've got the Focus Familiar, so you can always get Plague of Rust off. Guiding Eye means that you're going to be re-rolling your hits. I guess if you're going for it, this is the best version of it. So, sure. Lore Familiar, Double Focus Familiar. This is a good build. I really like this. And then this is a good unit as well. Shades, Cold One Knights. Doomfire Warlocks. Get this man beans on toast. Ooh, do love me some beans on toast. Not in this weather, but beans on toast is a banger. Okay, so I think the obvious way to tweak this is to shave some points here. So, we can't even put any magic items on the Lordling. That is annoying. So this character can't get tweaked. That's got to stay as it is. And if we're going for the full meme value, we can't drop the Focus Familiars. We can't drop the Guiding Eye. We can't drop the Tome of Furion. We could drop the Magic Resist. That kind of sucks, though. The other thing is you could put a Ruby Ring of Ruin into this unit. Man, it's hard to do. New to this game and start high elves. Can you tell me a 500-point high elf roster? Oof. Hard to say. Hard to say. I'd say work out what sort of high elves you want to play. What you think is going to be a playstyle you'll enjoy, and then just build towards what you think might be good at 2,000 points. So if you like the White Lions detachment, for example, a box of White Lions and a character or two, it's probably a good way to start. Maybe some Sisters of Avalon, they're a good unit. As a Hammer Elf player, I'm envious of the Guiding Eye. Yeah. How are Dark Elves without a dragon looking post-match play guide? Not a clue, but probably dog shit. Because if you ask me what Dark Elves look like now without a dragon, I'd say dog shit. I think there's a grand total of 2 people who've won events with with Dark Elves. We've both used dragons. You're welcome, Unholy DVP. I'd love to say that they're going to look better match play, like post-match play. I just can't see it being, I think their play with dragons might look better, but without, I can't say I've got much hope. Banner of Harganeth. Wait, hold on. Banner of Harganeth. Is that just... Yeah, so... Oh, okay. Here we go. We can save some points here. Banner of Harganeth. That's only in melee, so you don't want to go for that. If you're... Oh, bugger, I'm looking at the Cold One Knights. Man, I really am fried. I really am fried. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's a way to fit in... Yeah, I mean, without, like, dropping the Doomfire Warlocks and the Shades for another unit of Cold One Knights with a Ruby Ring of Ruin and no other upgrades, I don't think there's a way to put the Ruby Ring of Ruin in. So... Yeah, okay, so let me just go down the list, because I'm not actually going to make any changes. Dreadlord, great build, love that for you. Supreme Sorceress, I don't like what it's doing, but it's doing what it does well. You've built that correctly. This Sorcerer build, the Lore Familiar 2-Focus Familiar Battle Magic, great build. You're going to drop a power, a Pillar of Fire, real deep in your opponent's lines turn 1. Love that. The Repeater Crossbowmen, they are built correctly for what they're doing. I don't value what they do, but, this is the best version of doing it. The Dark Riders are well equipped. I like that. Then you've got the Cold One Knights. This is a really good solo unit that, as you've pointed out, you're going to try and Battle Lust. I'm not convinced you're going to get Battle Lust off a lot. But, like, I don't hate this as, like, a cheap scoring unit that also tries to cast Battle Lust into the Cold One Knights. And then Shades, they come with Ambush, right? Oh, no, we'd be giving them Ambush. So we're going to do that, and we're going to find 4 points somehow. I think we just drop the additional hand weapons. We trade off additional hand weapons for ambushes, and then you can use them to come in the back lines and potentially do some of the, like, backline scoring, destroying objectives, something like that. Losing the attacks is not the end of the world. You mostly just want them to shoot or to, be there to do whatever you can. And it was Zubas. Alright, cool. Cool. Let's drag that one up to the top so I don't click that one again. But yeah, I like the build. I think I might be looking at double dragon Dark Elves again. I think that's maybe something that's interesting to build around. Deep fried and crispy, what kind of stream is this? Yeah, I do feel deep fried and crispy. I really do. Cool. Alright. Well, I've seen Steve here recently, so we're going to have a look at his list. And this was a note that the Cathay list that says, just here to prove the Empire to be a weak army taken by weak players to hide their true inability to play Jordan Koff. Specifically targeting Jordan for your internal rival. Okay, I'm not sure this is a serious list. In fact, knowing Steve, I know this isn't a serious list. But that's okay. That's okay. So, what are we looking at here? Perfection. Yeah, damn right it is. So, we've got it's a lot of damage. It is a lot of damage. So, Mao Ying. I do like Mao Ying, especially now that you're capped on wizards. Mao Ying's pretty good. Core, we've got a Jade Lancer, Drilled Celestial Dragon Guard. I like that. Honestly, I do like that. I think what I'd be tempted to do is to drop the Jade Warriors here, go for a unit that gives you a bit more range damage. I think just putting the Ruby Ring of Ruin on a unit of cavalry is such a strong play. It's so flexible, because then, worst case scenario, they can still charge in and be a bad combat unit that they are already. Where on earth is the Ruby Ring of Ruin? Oh, Jade Warriors. Verily I am a fool. God, I am cooked. I've been talking into a camera for far too long today. It is obviously taking its toll on me. So we go Ruby Ring a Ruin here, and we'll give them drilled. We don't need to give them anything else. Actually, we can give them ambush because we really want to hammer home on the artillery. Then we just need to drop. Let's drop one Lancer here. That's fine. And then what do we got? So this unit's full command. This unit is. Oh, I think I'd be giving them shields. They're not going to kill anything realistically. I'd give them drilled and probably drop a model, and that's how we make it illegal. Yeah, that's better. And then here we're gonna fix this in a way that works for your list archetype, mate. So we can only have 3 cannons because of the new match play rules, but fortunately we can just replace them with the same points in fire rain rocket batteries. And yeah, as you say, this is a better version of Empire, specifically Screw You, Jordan. I think I think that's the solution here. We've still got 6 points. Is there anything I want to put 6 points into? I guess we give this unit a musician as well, and I think that's perfection. Honestly, why do I keep clicking the wrong thing? Export. Here we go. Yep. Nope. That is good. I'm going to go Ginger Steve, and just to make sure that Jordan sees it as well, I'll add Jordan. There we go. It's very important that Jordan sees that. Fantastic stuff. Dave B, hello, square-based heroes. Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of square-based heroes around. Things are looking good for the old world. I haven't even checked how we're doing on viewers. God, people are really looking at all the new stuff instead of the fix my slightly old list stream. That does make sense. That does make sense. Well, with that in mind, I'm not going to rush, but we don't necessarily have to take the normal 2 hours here. Is there anything here that's next up? Let's have a look at Rugby Lock's list. I think I saw Rugby Lock was pretty high up in the submission. One of the first people.
You may not like it, Empire player, but this is what peak performance looks like.
This is indeed what peak performance looks like. Huge fan of that. Huge fan of that. Alright. I got distracted. I was scrolling down looking for Rugby Players list, because I'm pretty sure it came with a bit of a disclaimer attached to it. Let's see what we've got here. Maybe not. Maybe I'm talking on my backside. Old Ginger Stephen is Cathay. Has he got Dogs of War? Any rumours of vampire counts being unlegended? There's always rumours, but nothing particularly compelling at the moment. It'll be nice if they are, but 100% not this edition, I would say. Maybe we get them next edition, that would be cool. I can't see this guy's list for some reason. I am struggling. In that case, if I can't find it, it does mean that it's more likely that he hasn't actually paired it with a bunch of text. And if he has and I've just missed it, yeah, okay, there it is. There was no text accompanying it. So let's have a look at this list then. So we have got some interesting choices. So I'm not, given that you haven't given me any context for what you're looking for, I'm going to assume this is a competitive list that you're trying to play around with. Any choices that you really like, feel free to keep. I'm just going to try and make this more efficient, and you respond accordingly. So here we've got a Demonology Wizard on foot to go with the Veteran State Troops, I guess. And then you've given them Stubborn as well. This is not, I think, a good unit. But. If you want to play Veteran State Troops, I don't see, it's fair enough. I would be giving them a weapon, at least. Like, probably Thrusting Spears here for 2 ranks with the Demonology buffs. And I'd also probably be giving them the Witch Hunter's Ward to give them Magic Resist here as well. Magic Resist, you can reroll an armor save, that's not important. But, yeah, make that unit stick around for longer, so the Wizard is going to stick in there as well. With the Demonology buffs and the Lore Familiar, I definitely want to give it a Ward save as well, I think. I'm very concerned that it just falls over immediately, so we're going to give it a Talisman of Protection here. We've got the General of the Empire on foot with a Dragon Blow. This is fine, but I think you should at least give it some sort of weapon. For 4 points, you may as well give it a great weapon. You got a Chapter Master, Lance Full Plate, Nord. What did the Knights Panther do? Is it the reroll ones? Hatred, Chaos. That's not bad, actually. And then the Gain Magic Resist one. Okay, that's interesting. Grandmaster, Chapter Master, unit of Inner Circle Knights all get Magic Resist 1. I don't hate that at all. So this is a model that's got basically no upgrades. I'd be giving this the White Cloak. And then we've got the Griffin Standard to double the rank bonuses. Sure. Knight Panther, you've got Witch Hunter Ward there, so that's good. Double Cannons is good. You definitely want at least an Engineering. If you've got a couple of cannons, you definitely want an Engineering in there as well. And then we've got... Let's have a look here. They hate Chaos, the best order in Empire by far, given how rife Chaos is. I really like the... Oh god, I'm going to forget the... I've forgotten the name of this already. Is it Blazing Sun, or is it Fiery Heart? Fiery Heart. So Fiery Heart gives you reroll hits and wounds over 1 in combat, not even on the charge. Only for the good stuff, but I think that's really, really valuable. A good Ogre Blade carrier. So this is fine. We've got the Road Wardens. Yeah, I like the upgrades you've gone for here. Famed Flight Vanguard, this is good upgrades. Icon of More on the Demigryph Knights is good, but you definitely want to give them full plate as well. That is important. And... yes. Cool. Then we just need to make some cuts to make this a legal list. Honestly, given that you're just using this for the bow, I guess you're using it for the leadership as well, but I'm not super in love with that. Let's just go Captain of the Empire, make it the General, full plate, great weapon, Dragon Bow. It's got the same ballistic skill, so for what you're using it for, it's not much worse, to be frank. Double Captain. Oh, in fact, you could actually just remove this entirely, and you could give this model the Dragon Bow, and really just shave some points there. And that puts us 47 points over. It would have to be the Chapter Master that's the General, I think, here. Leadership 8. Leadership 8. That'll do. Cool. And then if we just drop these down to... probably, like, I could see 6s. I don't think 9s are going to do too much for you. And then we just... oh, that actually takes us perfectly to the points. So I think this list is... given there's no direction to it, I will say I think this list is a little bit pulled in multiple directions. I think you either go like full leaning on evasion and road wardens, or you go artillery, or you go full knights. But with the models you've got here, I'm assuming that this is like this is built around your collection. This is probably how I'd go. I'd also be tempted to change up the Knights Panther to one of the other, you know, Knights of the White Wolf are really good, but again, this is potentially like a fluff pick or a model pick as well. You like more? Icon of More gives terror, and Empire Wizards are pretty good at debuffing leadership, yeah. Icon of More isn't an extremely common banner, is it? Or something like that. That would be wild if it was. Let me just double check I haven't missed something. No. You can only take one Icon of More, so you can just take it on a unit that already causes fear, and jobs are good. Cool. Alright, well, I hope that is helpful for the Empire. As always, if you've got any thoughts about the list, feel free to post in the relevant section for that army, and at me if you want me to take a look at any tweaks or changes that you thought about. Vesper's here. Now, I think we should talk about Vesper's list, because they are here. First of all, you've got a prince on a moon dragon. That's illegal. We're going to make it a star dragon. I know you've got points too many. I don't care. We're going to make it work. You can make this prince legally work, and I think a T5 dragon is just too sad to play. My fashion statement, of course. Yes, absolutely. So then you've got the Banner of Resilience on the Tyrannok Chariots, and this is interesting. I do like this. However, the Lance is an illegal choice. You can't give him a Lance, unfortunately. Lances are for cavalry and monsters only, so you can't put them on Tyrannok Chariots, which is bizarre, frankly. But probably give him a halberd or a great weapon. I mean, let's just go great weapon. You've also gone Cedar Rebirth and Enchanted Shield. We don't need to do that. We can just go... where has it gone? Where's it gone? What did you go here? Yeah, you haven't used Talisman of Protection. So for the paint, same points. We're going to get a very slightly worse armor save, and we're just going to go Talisman of Protection. Never even read that line because it never comes up. There we go. There we go. This thing, we can shave some points here. So you've gone Dragon Helm for the armor save. Seed of Rebirth is good. You've got the ward save from the Blood of Calidor, and you've got the full plate armor free there. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just want to give him a great weapon, but we do have to shave some points here. How are we going to shave points? I think it's a little bit sad, but we probably shave the power scroll here. We do have a built-in reroll, so you've got a little bit more consistency. I'm happy to keep the Seed of Rebirth, which puts us at 19 points over. I think what we might have to do is, to make this work, we might just go drop the Sword of Might, drop the Charmed Shield, great weapon, normal shield. It is a little bit rough. You do lose a little bit of reliability, but you've still got a 6-up ward and a 5-up regen, and you've still got a decent armor save, and you still hit pretty hard, and that means that we've got, we've put you on a T6 dragon. So the defensive stats what have you lost? A single 5-up ward save, a slightly better armor save. In return, you gain T6 plus a wound, so I think that's better. You did say that the contention was how to do the characters. You did. You absolutely did. The main problem is not having an Archmage in some. Yeah. I think this is like the bare bones version that I like, where we've managed to get you a T6 dragon, we've managed to keep you the Tyrannok chariot with the Banner of Resilience, and then we've still got the Archmage in there. Other than that, I'm not going to change anything. I like what you've gone for. The Sea Guard, I think, needs support, so I'd probably change this from Battle Magic to Elementalism. Because if you're going for this, you may as well actually lean into it. You could go for rerolling ones to hit, but I think Plague of Rust is probably more valuable. And we just give this Sea Guard, which you did already, like so. Archmage should be Elementalism. Great, you've got that already. That's my fault for translating it across incorrectly. Oh, speaking of, thank you so much for everyone who did put the JSON file for me just to import. It meant that I had time to go for a walk. So that was good for just general time and mental health, frankly. I don't know why it's Battle Magic. You don't remember putting it as battle. I think I just translated it across wrong. This unit does have to be tweaked because it can no longer be 500 points. So we do have to just go... What's the cheapest unit we can put in? Probably 5 Elven Archers in marching column. It's like super fine. So we just go like this. And we give this unit like so. So we go from... We lose 5 models here. We gain 5 models here. The list becomes legal again. We're exactly at 2,000 points. Yeah, I was talking to someone about the chariot Death Star. You've only got 3 of them, obviously, because that's how many you can take. Or can you take more? Maybe you can take more. Anyway, by the by, I like what you've gone for. I like the double unit assisters. I like the tough unit of Tyrannok chariots, and then you've got this unit here that's going to anchor and potentially maybe do some stuff. I think this is going to cost you points, realistically. I know you said it's a fashion choice, so I'm not tweaking it. But I think this is the weak spot of the list, whereas everything else I think has reasonable legs. I'd be more tempted to go just avoidance in core, but that is also a little bit of a playstyle for me, as opposed to it being necessarily out-and-out correct. It's more just how I would typically play. So if I link you your list there, lovely stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I actually quite like that list. I think that's pretty decent. Pretty decent. What were we up to next? Let's have a look at... there was some Tomb Kings from Zeman Jaski, I think is how that name would be pronounced. And I'm pretty sure that this did come with some disclaimer as well. So let's just have a quick look at that one. It was Tomb Kings... It was Tomb Kings. Where on earth is this list? Here we go. Tomb Kings with Tomb Guard. Defensive control strategy built around layered synergies. MP with Amulet, Mortuary Priest with Amulet goes in the Archer Blob. All of the characters can buy into the Tomb Guard for defensive bonus plus Casket. Even the High Priest can get to weapon skill 5, yeah, with a 5/5/5 and a -1 to hit if required. Shabti could go in Necrosphinx or 2 if cutting something else or decking anything. But I think the Great Blows play real well. Okay, so you're playing like a real control style with this list here. So the first thing I noticed You've got a Tomb King, you've got an Ogre Blade, heavy armor, and you're on a Skeleton Chariot. Chariots have a 5-up armor save. You may as well just buy the shield. That'll give you a slightly better save there, so that's a nice, quick free upgrade. Otherwise, I like this build. It's killy and it's defensive. The Royal Herald isn't on a chariot, but it's because you've given him Banner of the Desert Winds. So this is the Vanguard Reserve move banner. And then you've also got the High Priest with Elementalism, Law Familiar, Warding Splint, Potion of Strength. Is it really Potion of Strength? Have I misclicked that? It's meant to be Law Familiar. Potion of Strength. It's meant to be Ruby Ring of Ruin. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay, perfect. So we are actually 2 points over, but that's okay because there's loads of points in core that we can cut. So I like the banner here. The fact that you've got Law Familiar on this model doesn't matter too much because you don't care about losing reserve move because you've got it on this unit and this unit's going to teleport. Having TMP and reserve move is really nice, but you know, you're not losing it on too much. The Ashabti I also like, going for the Great Bows as you've put them with the Casket of Souls. You've got a nice backline that's quite hard to chew through and just does a lot of damage. The Tomb Scorpions with Ambush is good as well. I don't like the Skeleton Skirmishes at 5. I'm going to bump them up to 8, and the reason for that is they'll just die to the first bit of damage if you have them at 5, whereas here you can have them at 8, you can have them to bunker in some of the characters if you don't need them in the Tomb Guard for whatever reason, and that way you don't lose them immediately to like a Pillar of Fire or a Fireball, and you can actually res them back up. This puts us 32 points over, so I think we just need to drop... so we dropped 4... Skeleton Archers and 1 Tomb Guard, and that takes us to exactly 2,000 points without messing with what you've got. And I quite like the loadout of everything else here. Skeleton Archers with the Standard Bearer, I'd like a Musician, but I don't really want to cut one model for a Musician, so that's whatever. The Tomb Guard, you've gone for the Magic Resist and the Icon of the Sacred Eye, giving them +1 weapon skill. As you pointed out, you're giving the whole unit plus weapon skill. I think this is good. I like this. You've gone Drilled Nakarian Phalanx. This is a poor man's... what's the... God, my brain really has turned off in the heat. It's a poor man's Graveguard unit, but I still think it's pretty solid. It's not too shabby. So, yeah, we can just go like that, and didn't have to make too many changes on it. I like what you went for there. So, have I typed that correctly? Saman Jaski. Okay, that must be good. There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. What else have we got here? I think it's probably time to have a look at another Cathay list because there are 2 more, so let's just put this one in. This was Jordan's Cathay list, not the one that Steve was mocking with, but an actual Cathay list. And we've got double Shigangan Lord. One of them is going to have to drop down from level 4 to level 3, which is a shame. So it's probably going to be the Illusion Caster. Jadeblade, the Great Fleet. Arcane Familiar, that's not what you want. No, you definitely don't want the Arcane Familiar. You would want the... I'm assuming that's a misclick. Hold on, let me just roll up. See if Jordan's put anything with this list. Because that's an interesting choice that I don't understand. No text with it. Okay. So I don't think we go Arcane Familiar with that. I think we go the Learn Feng Shui Bow for the +1 spell, which means we're... I think in this case we actually just have to go Law Familiar. I think it's just too important not to have it, especially with only 3 spells. Then we've got the level 4, who is Ogre Blade Arcane Familiar. Arcane Familiar. I think you've misclicked, and instead of Arcane Familiar, you mean the Learned Feng Shui Bow. I'm assuming that's what happened here anyway. So we've got 2 Illusion Casters, one of which is more tanky and one of which does more damage. The one that does more damage is the one that we're going to give level 4, and the other one's going to have to drop down to level 3 because of the change in rules. And this one, the tankier one, we should make the General. Yeah, so we'll take the General off the Ogre Blade, we'll put it on the one with the regen, that makes more sense. Jade Lancers, this is now an illegal unit because it has to be 500 points cap. Is there a way that we can get there conveniently? Icon of Heavenly Fury. I did like the... for a big unit, I did like making it cause terror, which is the Spirit Lantern here. So that would put us 15 points over. Not really sure how we would tweak that. Let me go down. What we might have to do is just go down to like 16 and then add a min unit of Jade Warriors to get there. Find it funny you were joking about giving me a pizza earlier. You've just got given 2 large free pizzas. Hell yeah. Congratulations. That's pretty neat. There we go. So I'm just going 6 Jade Warriors, hand weapon shields, just to make this legal, because this unit is no longer, you know, you're not able to be above 500 points. I wonder actually if I went up to here, and then if we just went down to 5. Yeah, that's still fine. We're still within the tolerant zone of what we can do. And then we've got Sentinel, Sentinel, Sentinel. So you've gone triple Sentinel in terms of magic missiles. I like that. And then we've got this unit here. If we're doing that, where we're going full spells, I actually think we tweak this slightly and we just put the Ruby Ring of Ruin unit of Lancers in. So we go Ruby Ring of Ruin here. We go Drilled. 5 models is fine. And then we just need to shave some points from the Death Star, which is okay. So we go to 13, and then maybe we give this unit a musician as well. And is there anything that we want to give? I guess we've got 8 points. We could just go to fill the points up, give them the pistols. Yeah, that works. And they're both, it gives you a little bit of range damage as well to flex into, given that the rest of your list is pretty at range damage. But yeah, there we go. Let's go with that for Jordan's list. An interesting one. I do like the Shigangan Lords. I think there's probably a build where you do go Lord, and then 3 of the just regular Shigangan Generals. I think that's definitely an interesting option to go for. Also, Bevian, which is like Brian but with a V instead of an R, has watched the video with Jack Allen, was hoping to get something akin to his Renegades version. It's not for comp, just for fun. Would it look something like this? I think that might have been Christian, who was in chat earlier, so let's just have a look. So immediately, scrolling down, you've hit all of the good points. You've got Gutter Runners. I'd like more Gutter Runners, so maybe we just drop this unit of... let's just immediately drop this unit here of Clan Rats. We don't need them. This unit does need to lose points ever so slightly. Oh, that's annoying. Is there anything we can put in? Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to drop a couple of models here, just to make it legal, because again, you're capped at the 50 points, right? So if we go Giant Rats here, and give them Master Molder just for the leadership, and that gets us to just above core, but also makes it legal. Gutter Runners. Am I bothering with the Assassin? I think it gives you +1 ballistic skill, right? No, it doesn't. It gives you attack, so we're not bothering with the Assassin. We can drop those like so, but we can go for a 3rd unit of Gutter Runners. This is going to be a big point for the damage. Then Warp Lightning Cannons, we've got 2. We can't go any more. That's good. It is indeed you. Hell yeah. Good stuff. We've only got 1 wizard here, so that's fine. Elementalism, Power Scroll, Warp Scroll, Token, Lore Familiar. Looks good to me. I wonder if Dispel Scrolls would be better than the additional Warpstone tokens. I think let's drop the Warpstone tokens and put in a Dispel Scroll. I know it's not what he did, but I think it's too risky. Given that you're getting D3 Warpstone tokens already and you've got the Power Scroll, I think I'd rather have the Dispel Scroll to try and make sure you stop a key spell. That feels more valuable to me. Warlord with the Fellblade. I understand why he has it. It worries me too much, but, you know, it is what it is. Then we've got the Chieftain, Banner of Firmness, Scurrying, Ruby Ring of Ruin, Charm Shield. We can take off the Ruby Ring of Ruin here and put it onto the Warlock Engineer. Just that way we can take this out of the unit and have it run around solo if we need to, or we can position better, whereas this thing is more key for, you know, being in the unit and being in combat potentially. Then we've got the Chieftain with the Cautious Shield and the Talisman of Protection. Yep, I like that for the tanking challenges. And then we've got some points spare. I think, honestly, level 2 Wizard. And that puts us over in points, doesn't it? Maybe just level 1 Wizard. And we go for the Lure of the Horned Rat. I know it's a high casting level. Warp Lightning goes off on a 10, but we do come with D3 Warpstone tokens. So I think it's worth fishing around with. It gives you a little bit of flexibility to do some damage. And then if we're going for that, we may as well give it the musket. I think it's just +1 Storm Vermin like this. I think you've pretty much nailed it, and we just wanted to tweak the character slightly. I'm sure Jack would disagree with me about the Grey Sea here. He'd want the double Warpstone tokens. I think you've got enough extra casting already, and the Dispelled Scroll can potentially stop you from getting penned in a way that's difficult. This is the killy character that might die to itself. This is the BSB that is key to keeping you alive, although you probably... Oh, you've got the Halberd on there as well already. The Chieftain with Cautious Shield, Talisman of Protection is really nice, and then the Engineer. Just we've put all the range damage onto that because we may as well. Yeah, no, this is good. This was pretty much there already. I can't see the weapons team for some reason, but you've got one in there, so that is good. Yeah, I can link that to nice. But yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the first pass round. Just I think I want to squeeze a little bit more range damage out with the Gutter Runners and tweak the character slightly. Good stuff. Good stuff. Alright, Nick S. Nick S, I know his list was accompanied by some text here. Potential list for the Nova 2K GT. It is a fairly comped rule set. 800 points of character max. Infantry as supporting attacks. Oh, God. I mean, people can do what they want, but... oh, that's not for me. What? You're welcome, Chris. Christian, sorry. I shouldn't rename you. So what are they going for? So these are 0 to 2 characters in a unit. Sure. 0 to 1 character flying model with 6+ wounds. God, this is so much. The problem I have with this is just isn't Old World. This is just what someone thinks is their version of Old World. But the problem is inherent bias, so it just means that something else ends up being the best thing in the game. And then this is very similar to the scoring that we're getting in the match playbook, and I don't particularly like that either way, but it's not the end of the world. Objective markers, you hold, you get additional scoring, plus unit strength, sure, bigger units, terrain. See, this is... I hate this. This just shouldn't be involved for a tournament. I think, to be fair, Nova is not necessarily a tournament. It's more of like an event, but I do not like this. You lose points for bringing good lists, right? All right, well, let's have a look at the list for Nick. So we've got Great Weapon, Full Plate Shield Bearers, Smiting Grummel, Preservation. Yep, this is the perfect build. This is exactly the king that you want to see. It can go toe-to-toe with the dragon. It's a real pain in the backside. Then we've got a Runesmith, which is BSB, Master Rune of Grogny, Rune of Battle. Love that. Rune of Spellbreaking. Just one. I wouldn't mind seeing more, but I guess you are capped at 800 points, that's sure. Okay, yeah, no, I think this is a really good... With an 800-point cap, this is a really good set of characters to go for. Longbeard Death Star. We do need to shave you some points now, just to make it legal. Is there a way to shave 3 points? It's going to be difficult. Is there a way to add 12 points? That is going to be difficult. Because we need it to be 500 points exactly, or we need a secondary unit. What's the cheapest unit that we can put in? I guess it's got to be 5 Quarrelers. Yep, 5 Quarrelers, no upgrades, which means that we just chop a couple of models off here. That gets us down to a legal list again, which is good. Dwarf Cart, Bookman's Cart, that's good. Grudge Throwers, fine. Iron Drakes, Rangers. Doomseeker. I don't think the Doomseeker is good. I'm not sold on the Doomseeker at all. I know it's not that expensive, and you've got the Rune of Wrath, which is that +1 attack? I just can't see this doing much. A good player is just going to avoid it, so I think I would personally drop the Doomseeker entirely, especially because it's a mercenary. And then I'd probably just look to bulk out the Iron Drakes a little bit. So going up to 8, and I guess we can't go much bigger here. 8 and 6. I like 8 and 6 more. Oh, that's 10 points over. God damn it. So if we just go 8 and 5, and then we've still got 33 points to play around with. It's difficult to do that. I think maybe we just add more into the Longbeard, so we go +1 model, and then there's 5 points here. Oh, you know what I'd like to see? Oh, we've got the Rune of Passage already. Okay, that was what I was going to put in. Is there anything else that we're really, really keen to fit in here? Not so much, honestly. Is there anything on the banner runes? No. The champion can't take anything. You've equipped them correctly here. We can't put anything more into there. So I guess it's just... we have 5 points. What does the Rune of Speed do? +1 attack, is it? +1 initiative. That's just to make the Rune of Passage legal, I think, right? Or maybe there's a reason for it. I guess you could just go a second Rune of Speed. If you're going 1, you may as well go for the second. And it fills up the 5 points there. I don't think there's much else that you can take. Like, you could also go just 5 points for the Veteran. That's fine, but... those last points are kind of just subject to whatever you fancy, I think, realistically. So let's go like so there. Alright. Okie dokie. Where are we up to? Alaric's Errantry Crusade list. We were talking, I believe, I think it was you I was talking to Errantry Crusade about. It was one of my coaching students. So let's have a look here. There was definitely some text accompanying this, because I did give it a skim. What does Ed want? Think about running an Errantry Crusade list. If Impetuous changes to leadership, their veterans are hopefully quite manageable. Wanting to go full send. I think that's fair. Yeah, that is fair. So we're assuming for this that Impetuous is not a downside, or not a real downside. Let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got the Duke Royal Peg, Grommel Great Hound, Syrian's Locket, Virtue of Heroism, Healing Potion. Healing Potion's interesting. I think I'd be more tempted to drop the Healing Potion and go for the Paymaster's Coin, because if you've got this model, it's because you want to do a job, and you may as well threaten to do that job, which is killing below a dragon. So having the rerolls to hit, I think, is more valuable than staying in combat for an extra turn. The Baron, who has got Ogre Blade, Knightly Temper on a Warhorse. I think we're still putting this on a Pegasus. I don't think I see a reason not to put it on a Pegasus. Just the flexibility of that is too good. We would be 8 points over. Is there anything we can shave? Let's have a look. Not so far. Okay, we'll see if there's anything here. Crusader's Lance. That's very pricey for the Lance, because this is... oh, yes, it does give you Hatred all enemies. Armor Bane 2, Furious Charge. I guess you're looking to add output to the unit, so I guess we could just go back to the Bretonnian Warhorse. I think it's worse, but I guess if you're trying to make the units actually do something, it makes sense. Peasant Bowman in Special is wild as well. I'm not sure I'm sold on that. Squires. What would I change here? Because I don't like this. I think this doesn't make much sense to me. I guess having the shooting is good, and I know you like the shooting, but it just feels suboptimal to put it there. If we're going Crusader's Tapestry is the +1 strength, right? Is that correct? Frenzy. Okay, sure. So I guess if we're going for that, we should really be going Knightly Virtue, Impetuous Knight. So this also gives us the plus range. Obviously, that puts us over on points. Is there anything that we can shave here? We really are struggling for points here in a way that I do not enjoy. Because there's a couple of characters that I think are pretty pretty suboptimal, just in terms of, like, these will fall over so quickly, right? Like, they'll hit really hard, but you lose a lot for not having them on the Royal Pegasus. Maybe we just... 4 points. I don't think there's a way to shave 4 points, unfortunately, so we do just have to drop that. That's pretty rough. That is pretty rough. Yeah. Huh. There's lots of things that I want to change with this, and I keep getting to the point of changing things and then going, oh, I can't change that because there's nothing, like, it hits issues with the points. I think probably we could give this unit, or is this, yeah, Banner of Honourable Warfare. I think giving one of them the Banner of Honourable Warfare is probably good, and then we can just shave a couple of points here. So we probably go, do we need a second unit of Squires? Got 3 characters to join, we've got 3 units. Really do feel like I'm hitting a wall with this list. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to make any changes here, Ed. But I am going to say... what time is it now? 1:20, so we're 1:20-ish in VOD. And then we can talk about it in our in the Discord chat if you fancy tweaking it, because I'm hitting walls. I don't like it, but I don't like. I feel like having these in the units, I feel like you're losing a lot for relatively expensive characters. But I don't know how to tweak it without completely reworking the entire thing. So let's just have a chat about it in general if you fancy. I don't think there's any tweaks that I can make to maximize this version of it that I like anyway. Okay. Cool. Then next up we've got Zarkin's Beastmen, and I think there was text with this one as well. So let me just go up in the Discord channel. There must be a better way of me being able to have my notes available. Maybe that's something I need to look into for next week. Let's see what we've got here. The Vile Coven. Beastmen list for review. I want to get some new toys in with the upcoming Arcane Journal release, along with committing to a Coven-style casting list. The idea is the Beast Lord makes the Bestial core to use their points for Warped Moon Banner Bunker unit, easy for you to say, for all the level 1 casters. Big Law block to support both the Beast Lord and the BSB, and lots of single units to run harassment. Okay, so we're going level 1, level 1, level 1. All of these are going to be doing Vile Tide. Then we got the Chalice of Dark Rain, of which I have forgotten. Turns off shooting. Yeah, I do like that, especially into Cathay. Like, now that Cathay exists, this is a much bigger pickup, I think. We've got the level 4 Talisman of Protection High Tree Fetish caster there. That's good. And then we've got a Beast Lord, Scimitar of Skultar, Chaos Armor Coatus, Gnarled Hide. That's pretty decent. I don't hate that at all. And then we've got a Wargore, who is pretty tanky, BSB Slugskin. Cool. That all makes sense. Bestigor. You know what I'd be more tempted to do? Literally just go down to 5. And then go... probably drop some Gore here as well. Go more Razor Gore. And then go some Ungor to have the casters in. I think like 2 units of 10 skirmishing Ungor is more valuable in terms of bunkering the wizards in. I think that makes a lot more sense than your very expensive Bestial herd that probably just want to sit back and hold the herdstone. That makes more sense to me. Other than that, single Shartax are good. The spawn is good. I'd like a second one, but we'd have to cut a lot to get it there, so let's not do that. And we just need to cut 78 points, which means that we have to make some big cuts here in core. So it might just be go down... yeah, so go to only 2 Razor Gore. And down to like 21 on the Gore. It's not as big, but you're putting the characters in it. Maybe we just go 1 unit of Ungor and then we put some more points into this unit here. 28. I think 28 feels fine. 21 was starting to feel too low in terms of what they can actually do. But, yeah, I think your characters make a lot of sense. I like the loadout on the Beast Lord. I like the loadout on the Brave Shaman. You've got the, you know, the correct full blaster caster. You've gone for a Tusk or Chariot. Triple Brave Shaman, one of them, Chalice of Dark Vein, is very good. The War Gore makes sense as well, so I like all that. The Gore Bunker with the Vitriolic Totem is good. Best to go for Banner of the Warped Moon, that's just going to sit at the back and hold the Herdstone, is decent. Ungor Herd, Razor Gore, Triple Dragon Ogres, Spawn. Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. I don't think that needs much more tweaking. Let me type correctly. Boom, there we go. Job is a good one. Job is a good one. Alright, perfect. Where does that leave us? Well, we've still got 2 Cathay lists. Hey, you're here! Perfect. If you've got any questions, feel free to chuck them in. We've got 2 Cathay lists, and we've got 2 other lists. So let's start off with a Cathay list. And this was Gardison's list, of which I think there was some text to go alongside it. Let's have a look here. Where was this? Am I talking up my backside? Maybe there wasn't any text to go with Gardison's list. Looking for a G. Yeah, there's got to be a better system for finding the notes, especially by the time I've posted loads of lists in here. It might have just been a straight copy, paste in. Okay, I'm not seeing anything here, so I think we can assume that it was just a straight list on this one, without any tweaks. Yeah, there we go. Happy Midsummer. So there wasn't anything on there. So, we are going to have to tweak this immediately, because we've got 2 level 4 wizards, and we can only have a level 4 and a level 3. We've got a strategist on the lantern, we've got triple cannons, and then we've got the Fire Rain rocket battery. So immediate thoughts, we get rid of the Fire Rain rocket battery, because I think it's fine, but it's not like doing it. We replace that with a Sky Lantern, because the Sky Lanterns are nuts, and we just go like so. This Sky Lantern has got the crane guns, so let's just go double crane guns. We can keep it similar. We've got the cannons, which are really good. Oh, we could do with an Ogre Loader here if we can fit that in. We'll see if we can tweak points. And we're going to be able to tweak points because one of them is going to lose their level 3. We can drop the pistols here unless we don't have anything better to do. And this one is... Okay, so this is, I'm assuming, meant to be an illusion caster. I'm sure that's got to be an illusion caster. At which point, let's go... If I'm wrong about this being an illusion caster, my apologies, but it's just a very expensive sword to be going for a not illusion wizard. Or like demonology or something like that. Wait, demonology? I can't take demonology. I wish. That'd be amazing. So this is going to be the level 3 wizard, the illusion caster, which is, I assume, what you were going for. And then the level 4, which is just a blaster mage. That makes sense there. And then this wizard, we've gone crane guns. I wouldn't bother with the Sky Lantern bombs. If you're going crane guns, that means you're probably going to be playing it more cagey. So we'll just keep it further back. And you can also drop the gunpowder bombs. And that tweaks you into a more... You know, it just lines up more with the points you're looking to spend. Alchemist Mask for Plague of Rust is really nice. Icon of Heavenly Fury. This is one that I have actually forgotten off the top of my head what the Icon of Heavenly Fury does. Let me just pull up my PDF here. Heavenly Fury. I will say I wasn't super wowed by any of the banners. Oh, this is the turn off fly for 1 turn. Honestly, that's probably decent. That's probably worth having in. So I'm okay with that. Drilled Stubborn as well. And then 5 Lancers. I think if you're doing this, you're doing it because you want the Ruby Ring of Ruin. You haven't got it in here, have you? No. So we can go Ruby Ring of Ruin. And then we can shave some models here to get down to below points. 516. So if we go like this, we're 7 points missing. How do we make that work? I don't really want to... I guess we could just give them stubborn as well. Like, that's not an awful way of doing things. And that gets us to a decent points there. But yeah, no, I think this has got the bones. The 3 cannons is good. Adding a second lantern instead of the fire rain... the fire rain rocket battery is probably better. Tweaking it so you've got a level 4 and a level 3. I'm assuming this was meant to be illusion. If not, if you just wanted a tanky general, I guess that makes sense as well. In which case, the build basically stays the same, but you just drop Lore Familiar and you go for the Feng Shi bow again. And then you probably put the points back on the pistols or something like that. And yeah, I like it. I'd also be tempted just to change this to be a melee, like a shorter range one with the Dragonfire bombs, and then Dragonfire bombs here as well. But that's completely changing up the guns, so it's a very different vibe for using it. Let's go Garrison. Boom. Good stuff there. Next up, let's have a look at Empphil's, or Empil, I should say, his list. And this was pretty far up here. Playing at 2.2k with a 35% limit on characters and a 0-1 limit on level 3, level 4 mages. Love Minotaurs, so thinking of having them in ranks of 4 for maximum damage output. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. This was one I think that I wanted to make a decent amount of tweaks to. The problem is... Oops, that's the wrong list. Here we go. The problem is that it's a little bit difficult in terms of, like, you're almost at your maximum points anyway. I think you're 4 points under max points. Because it's 2,200 point list with only 40% core, or 35% core, so not very much there. I need to remember what the Beast Banner does. Oh yeah, plus range on the charge. I like that on the Minotaurs, that's good. I will say you probably want to go half with great weapons, half with shields. You make use of that mob rule. Otherwise, I think that's decent. The Doom Ball here, it feels a little bit of a shame to not give it at least a great weapon. Full plate armor, just drop the shield. Like, it doesn't need to tank, it can do some decent damage. That great weapon, I think, is more valuable. The Talisman Protection Hag Tree Fetish character is good. Drop it down to a Tuskor Chariot, give it a Ruby Ray of Ruin. Just a better loadout all round. You don't lose much by dropping down from the Tuskor Chariot because you're already toughness 5, and you gain an extra magic missile. Then this character's absolutely fine as it is, and I think that does take us to a cap on magic items, so I'm not going to tweak that there. Core, Minotaur's good. Yeah, so the cores, we can come back to the core. The Dragon Ogres, you don't want to go units of 2 with Shartax. You can go units of 1 with Shartax, but the reason you don't go 2s with Shartax is one of them's just going to get challenged out, the other one's not going to do anything. Oh, also, they should have great weapons. So let's just tweak that over. So we're going from 4 in units of 2 to 3 units of 1, all of them with great weapons, and Shartak upgrade there is good. That leaves us with 40 points remaining, and then you went Gigantic Spawn of Chaos and a Gorgon. If you want to keep the Gorgon, you can do, but just going double spawn is going to be way more effective. If you are short on like models, feel free to tweak it back, but I think that if you're willing to go with a double spawn, I would do so. Then that gives us some points here. I think I don't know what the Gore Herd is going to be doing other than being combat res, so we can drop them. They don't have to be anywhere near as big. You could go sort of like 19 with a BSB, and then you've got the Minotaur here with the Doom Ball, and then I would just go something like triple Razor Gore here. I know I put it in all of the Beastmen lists. There is a reason. They are incredible. They're so good. And then I guess to tweak the points back up, you could go for a 7th Minotaur. That does make points a little skew-if. So maybe we just add some more gore back into the unit to get it closer to the size that you had before. Like that. And I think that is a better core. I think it's a better special. And I think it's a better set of rare. But again, if you have got limitations in terms of the Gorbel and the Gigantic Spawn, you just need to shave some points out of core, which you could do by dropping some Gore Herd or you know, whatever you want to tweak to get you back to a legal list. But yeah, that one, I'd like to tweak this. I'm not super happy that the characters are so naked. A lot of the power in Beastmen does come from the characters, but given the comp rules, I think it's difficult to tweak them in a way that makes sense. So we're just going to leave that as that. Because I'm not sure how we could realistically tweak the characters to be better while still having all 3 of them. But yeah, No, I like it. I like a unit of Minotaur in core. I just think they're fantastic. Obviously, they're made out of tissue paper unless you abuse mob rule, but yeah, they're fun. They hit real hard. That 500 max per unit is honestly pretty rough. I was playing around with the Dwarf Yeet list while listening to the stream, and oof. Yeah, I think the trick, Bromo Sapien, is to go like double Yeet, double Anvil, double Character, double Longbeards, and that's your whole list. Sorry, one Dwarf Cart. One Dwarf Cart. I actually don't think the 500 point max matters much, other than if you wanted to go for a single unit Death Star in core, it becomes more difficult to line up the 500 points, and I don't necessarily know how to do that for all of the units so far. We might find that most units can do it pretty comfortably, so we'll see. Alrighty then. Did I just not finish putting this list in? Because Danzilla34 had some question about Renegade Lizardmen, so let's just scroll up and have a look at this one, and then see what I did wrong. Yeah, I just didn't finish putting the list in, apparently. What have I missed? Characters. I didn't put in characters. Level 4, Cloak of Feathers, Battle Magic. So Cloak of Feathers is here down the bottom. Question mark, question mark. Cloak of Feathers, lovely stuff. And then we've got a Saurus Old Blood on a Carnosaur, which is pretty decent. So we've got Shield, Carnosaur, Hide of the Cold Ones. I don't think that's legal. Cliff Necklace, Piranha Blade. Let's have a look. Oh, no, it is. Of course it is. Hide the Cold One gives you +1 to your save, but it gives you stupidity. But you don't really care because it's the Renegade rules, so that's fine. And then we've got the Piranha Blade, which is... I think, honestly, I'd go... you went Glyph Necklace here. I think I'd just go Great Weapon, frankly. Like, I know it's not multiple wounds. The Carnosaur is multiple wounds, and this Great Weapon's just going to be better into almost everything else. So that's how I'd tweak that. Yeah. You lose a little bit of armor save, so we're going to give you... Where's it gone? Armor of Meteoric Iron. Wait, are you wearing... Oh, you got the Hide the Cold Ones. I think we drop Hide the Cold Ones. You lose the stupidity. You just go Meteoric Iron, you go Glyph Necklace, and then, if you wanted, you don't have to, but if you wanted, you could put on the Paymaster's Coin. Squeeze in the old Sanaki's Blade. I don't think it's worth squeezing in, to be honest. Like, it's fine, but I don't think the thing that it's... I think just Great Weapon's better, because you lose out on a lot, right? So, if you want the Glyph Necklace to give yourself Magic Resist, it doesn't work, so you'd have to go just Talisman of Protection, which is fine, but then you're also losing out on the armor save. So I think you just go, like, a 5-up, 5-up, Magic Resist 2, Great Weapon. I think that's the easiest way of doing things, and we can drop the shield as well. Hey Jack, just catching up. Any reason we aren't seeing any more Mao Ying's better value elsewhere? Or Mao Ying is interesting. I think she's decent. I think she's probably pretty good, I would say, especially with the new rules that are coming in, where you've got a capped level 4. You can only have one level 4 caster per army or per 2,000 points, but special characters supersede that, so you could go Yao Ming and another level 4. But the lanterns and the cannons are so good that she's quite hard to squeeze in, because you kind of want to go with lanterns in character slots, one level 4 wizard to give you still some magic output and magic defense, triple cannons, and then you find that you actually just don't have points to fit her in. I really like it. I will definitely be playing with Mao Ying, something that I'm gonna play around with. Hopefully that helps. Alright, so we got the Slan, Law Familiar, Becalming Cogitation for the Dispel, High Magic, and War Banner BSB. I don't know that you need Law Familiar. You can go for it, but the Renegades pack, which gives you +1 spell known and reroll on the d6, I don't think it's super worth doing. I'd be more tempted to go drop the Law Familiar. I'd actually be tempted to go something like... Where's it gone? Is it Wand of Jet? +1 to cast and dispel. It does risk being destroyed, but you're rerolling one of the d6 anyway, giving you another +1 to cast, given that you know 5 spells already. I think that's just really, really solid. Yes, there is a risk that you don't get the high magic spell you want, but I think it's fine. I also don't think you need high magic, honestly. I'd go Elementalism. I think that's sort of the best value add, and I'd also go Ruby Ring of Ruin. That is just going to get you the most bang for your buck. You can cast while you're in combat, you can Plague of Rust, You can give your unit the ward save if you want to. High magic, the things that are going to kill you, it's not really, like, ethereal isn't going to save this unit, I think. So I would be going more in line of elementalism with Ruby Ring of Ruin and maybe Wonder Jet as well. This wizard with Cloak of Feathers battle magic, I think is fine. I don't hate it. It lets you be really mobile and cast a spell up with the slan. It's okay. Temple Guard, you've gone Spell Eater Axe, Sun Standard as Chotek, which is the better banner. It gives you -1 to be shot, and they can't be standard shot against. I think this is fine. Magic Resist 2 on there is good as well. I'd definitely be going for a third unit of skirmishers, and I also wouldn't give them scouts. I think Vanguard is a lot more bang for your buck. So we'd go 10-10, and then a third unit of 10 skink skirmishers like so, and then maybe we drop a couple of Temple Guard to get us below the line here, something like this. Don't really want to go to 16. Ah, yeah, that was it. You definitely want to lose the champions on the Croxagore as well. I don't think the Croxagore are good, to be fair, but if you want to run them, you definitely don't run unit champions, because you want to put as many attacks into the dragon or whatever that charges you anyway, because you're going to be wounding them on 3s, hitting them on 5s, wounding them on 3s. It's not a great value proposition, but if you go into a champion, you're just free lunch for them, so you may as well do so. And the skink skirmishers having the... whatchamacallit? They have a rule. Yes, here we go. Skirmish screen. So it's like Chariot Runners, but it's for Croxagore, and it's on the Croxagore themselves. So I think I'd actually use... Good evening. Hey, Ed, your list is next and last, so good timing. Yeah, I think I'd just go something like this, and then I guess you just add a couple of models like that to get it above the line. But yeah, I think something like this is a fairly standard version of the Renegades list. The Croxagore aren't what I put in. I would put the Bastillodons, I think, is the most appealing choice in my eyes. But if you want to go for Croxagore, I think this is the best version of the list with them. Croxagore runners. Yeah, that's the rule. Thank you, Hasselflavor. Ed says he's drunk as well, so this is perfect. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, let's round it out with a little bit more Cathay. So, you typed in, and I know where you typed because you were the first person to submit. You were very keen, which we like that. So let's go right up to this top here. And need to cut 26 points off it and make it good. Ah, right. And you also said that you made mistakes to make my life difficult. I think that's what you said anyway. Okay, so we've got triple cannon. Good. We've got the Sky Lantern. Good. We don't have to worry about those. Those are just solid. We've got Lancers and Warriors. What have you gone here? Sword of Might, Enchanted Shield. I don't think we go Sword of Might. I don't think we go Enchanted Shield. I think we can drop those. Icon of Heavenly Fury is super decent. I think if we're going anything on this character, I really like Spirit Lantern, but Alchemist Mask is really nice as well. I don't think you've taken it elsewhere. You have taken it elsewhere. So we're going to take the Alchemist Mask off, and I think we just give them Terror. I think that's a pretty decent way to build around this big Death Star. It's definitely the direction that I'd be looking at. The other option is to go for the Maw Shard to make it so that enemy wizards nearby can't cast. So maybe we just go with the Maw Shard. You've only got 8 of them. Let's give them Terror. There we go. What have they got? Otherwise, Stubborn. Stubborn's fine. I definitely give them Drilled. Drilled is such a good rule. There we go. And then we've got 18 warriors with the Shield of Nangao, which is +2 to the save if they get charge. So you potentially give up very little combat res against a dragon, because you get up to a 2-up armor save. War Banner. We definitely want to go shields here instead of halberds, because you're not realistically killing much. Stubborn's fine. Again, I really like Drilled with this unit, but I guess it's less valuable, because you're kind of just looking to exist. Let's leave it for now. Gatemaster with the Lance, Warhorse, Ogreblade, Alchemist Lance. So we can take off the Lance because you don't need that. I don't think Ogreblade is good here because the Gatemaster only has 3 attacks. You would never make my life difficult. You live to make my life difficult. I don't like this character. I don't think it's doing much. But we'll leave it for now. We'll come back to it. Then we've got a level 4 wizard. There are 2 level 4 wizards, so we're going to have to tweak that. To be fair to you, that was done before the change. So I think I'm going to say what I said about the last one. We take off the learned Feng Shi Bow. we give the Law Familiar here, and we go level 3 Wizard, like so. And then the second caster, level 4 Power Scroll, just Battle Magic caster. Yeah, I like that more this way around. Have we got Ruby Ring of Ruin in here? Nah, we should give this model the Ruby Ring of Ruin. If it's going to be flying around doing spells, we want it to be doing the correct spells, and by that I mean all of them. So that's good. So we've got our Blaster, which could... I think we make the Blaster the General. I know it's easier to kill from range, but this one actually wants to get into combat. So let's just tweak it that way around. I feel like Cathay loses much less from the level restriction. I absolutely agree. I think they can play around it very comfortably. So if we lose the Gatemaster, you can just go for another Sky Lantern. And I think I'd be saying like 2 of these. So we get 2 with the Dragonfire Bombs, I think is really strong in this sort of like quite aggressive list where you've got an aggressive caster, you've got the Lancers that want to get in. The question becomes, how do we make that legal? What about Sentinels? They're decent, but I think if you're trying to make this as good as possible, we maybe wouldn't bother. I think we can drop the Power Scroll. No, I do really like the Power Scroll on this caster. But that would fix our problems. I think, as much as I'd like the Power Scroll, it's something that we're just going to have to live without. Oops, no, we're keeping the Ruby Ring. We drop the Power Scroll, and that gives us the second Sky Lantern, and both of them have the Dragonfire Bombs. I think that's better. If you wanted to go Sentinels, I'm not really sure how you fit Sentinels in. Like, here, you drop both of these for 1 Sentinel, and some cosmetic upgrades over here. I don't know that it's going to do all that much, to be honest. Not sure it's going to do all that much. But that's fine. You don't know if you want to... Or drop the... Oh, you don't know if you want 2 Sky Lanterns, is that what you're saying? You like Luft Balloons. Yeah, I think this is a better version of the list. I think if you want to play like a non-Sky Lantern spam list, 2 of them is a good number. You don't know if you want to go Sentinels. Yeah, I agree. I'll probably end up buying and painting one because I think they're really nice models. I think it'll see the table less than most other things. But yeah, I think this is solid. I think the Terror / turning off Fly unit here has a lot of utility. Because, let's be frank, they're not going to be doing a lot of damage in combat. They're going to be doing some. But I think having an extra angle for them to do stuff is good. These Jade Warriors are fine. I don't hate them as just sort of like points denial. Double Sky Lantern's good here. Triple Cannon. Double Shigengan Lord. Which is a really nice model. But yeah, I think that's what I'd change. Ambush and Lancers. You could do. Remember that you won't be able to use the Icon of Heavenly Fury if they come in from ambush. So you'd have to really preempt what your opponent's going to do. I think I'd rather have them on the board if you're planning on using the Icon of Heavenly Fury, because the timing on it is that it happens at the start of the command phase, and you come on in the compulsory moves. Can't modify the roll either with this list. Oh, is it a character that changes it? I can't remember off the top of my head. I've just joined the rules together in my head, to be frank. No, I think you can. It's not on the Magistrate. I think it's on the Balloon. Let me just double check. Yeah, there we go. This is just a rule on the Sky Lantern. It's not a rule on the Magistrate, and there's 2 Sky Lanterns, so you could add a plus or minus 1. Funnily enough, I think this rules as written stacks, so you could plus or minus 2. I still don't think Ambush is right. I think you want to have it on the board. But yeah, I like this version of it. I think this is decent. Are you gonna... Oh, you haven't been playing in the open order SummerSlam, have you? This would be a good one to test in that. This feels like a pretty well-rounded list. I'm tempted to swap over to Cathay and just play some games with that. Have I seen the match play guide? I have. I haven't had a chance to have a full read through of it. I've got a PDF of it now, so I'm going to, after stream is over, have some food and just have a think about it. My plan is I want to put out a video tomorrow talking about the changes to how things are going to play with the cap on wizards and 500 point characters, and then I think I want to have some more time to play a couple of games, do some thinking, and then do a video about what I think the effect of the match play missions is going to be. I think that's how I want to do it. Yeah, I like that a lot of the rules are optional, so I'm not too worried. There's some things in there I like, some things I don't, but that is okay. And yeah, that takes us to the end of tonight's stream. Hopefully the few of you that were here enjoyed. It's an odd time to be talking about rules for a game that is about to change. I'm half tempted to fix my list next week because we've got an FAQ coming, but the problem is the week after that I've got a stag do, so I don't really want to miss back-to-back weeks. So maybe we just do something different next Friday. I don't know. Maybe we do a streamed battle report of Cathay next Friday. Something like that could be fun. But haven't quite worked out what I want to do. And then the week after that, I'll be in Liverpool. Not drinking, because I don't really drink. Thanks for the stream and answering questions. You're very welcome. Thank you for asking the questions. This sort of stream is a lot of fun to do. Obviously, it is. It doesn't feel super repetitive, but it is very much like it's fixed content, so it does feel kind of the same for me a little bit each week. So it's always nice to see different lists, but the thing that really makes it, sorry about that. The thing that really makes it is people asking questions, so then I've got interaction points to go with. So, yeah, I'm gonna call it there. There'll be probably 2 videos coming to you tomorrow, 1 Cathay and 1 match play. So I'm gonna go start thinking about the game in a structured format, go to bed, get up early, and yeah, work from there. Have a good weekend, everyone. I hope it's not mind-bogglingly warm where you are, the way it is for me.